Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Welcome to the best build of Season 10. This build has been taken to leaderboards by storm. This is the Evade Rake Spiritborn. This is number 1 on the tier list. And if you're just looking at the damage here, it goes completely crazy, hitting for hundreds of trillions of damage here just on these target dummies. And you're basically evading through them and you're dealing a ton of damage. This build has already cleared pit 138 and is expected to go all the way to pit 140. The highest hits we've seen here with some Giga AoE on Rake is absolutely insane. I have a couple of hits here for multiple thousands of trillions. You can see this here in my 137 run here. I was hitting for more than 1,000 trillion. And this build is the number 1 slot on the tier list overall now. I have a full build guide. We have a few variants, a full DPS, a tanky variant, and a non-Uber variant that you can do. And right now, the number 1 clear has no Uber items, no mythic items equipped as well. So there is a ton of crazy stuff to get into. And just to give you a sense here of the gameplay, this is just me here running a pit 137. You heard that right. And this build is so strong. I'll show you a couple runs later. It can do pit 120 in just 2 minutes, absolutely one-shotting all the packs in pit 120. And yeah, it can clear the high speeds. You can see here doubling the time just on 137. And the gameplay rotation is also fairly simple. There is just a lot of buttons that you want to press basically. And we have the Harambe Gorilla. You can see here how Harambe is smashing the battlefield, also pulling in all the enemies together with some of the new uniques that we have available. And the Rake having an insane amount of AoE damage thanks to all of our Chaos perks, plus a permanent overpower. You can see here, every Rake hit basically is overpowering and hitting for hundreds of trillions of damage, absolutely demolishing these monsters. And just to keep like a little bit of sense here, these hundreds of trillions, like they are enough to one-shot all the monsters, all the packs in a pit 120. And enough to one-shot a pit 100 times over. So this build is extremely strong. There's also a very good transition you can do from my Evade build that I've been talking a lot here on the channel, that I've been starting the season with, Evade Spiritborn. You guys might have known it. It's completely insane. And this is basically a similar playstyle. You can see we are evading with Thunder Spike and Sepan Sontek all the time here. So we evade, and then every time we evade, it resets our Rake cooldown thanks to our Chaos perks. So we just use this like Thunder Spike with Evade that resets our Rake, and that overpowers and does crazy amounts of damage. So you can see here, we're absolutely demolished. I think I spawned the boss here in 8 minutes on 137. There's now even 138 clear. So stuff is going like really crazy. And we're gonna jump in the game here. As you can see, it's just like so crazy with the pulling and with everything. So let's go in the game and I will show you the exact setup that I played here in this 137 run. Then we'll talk quite some of the other setups that you can do that are also like here in all these different planners. Let me stop this here for a second. It's completely nuts. So your main skill is Rake. And the reason Rake is so strong is first of all the back of power. When casting a skill, it deals less damage to close enemies, but it deals a ton of more damage, 200x to enemies that are far away. Then we use combined strikes. Our base core skill hits 3 times. And then here, very important, your third skill resets the cooldown of your core skill. And because we are using the Sepan Sontek, we're always hitting with our third skill when we use Thunder Spike. And as we use Thunder Spike, cast while evade, we also hit with Thunder Spike when we just evade. So the basic rotation would look something like this. You would cast your Rake, and then you would just evade, and then it's going to reset your Rake again, and then you would just Rake again. And this is like because it like adds this like a big and long cooldown, but it makes the AoE insanely huge. And also thanks to the unstable power, we're guaranteed to crit, guaranteed to overpower and do another double damage basically. And since we're guaranteeing overpower with unstable power, we also get Bran over Brains for another 2.25x multi and just a ton of more damage even. So like all this combination is really strong together. And basically the gameplay loop, like if you're not, this is all just buffs, right? Harambe is just a buff. Scourge is a buff. Armor Tide is a defensive buff. And counterattack is also like a defense/offensive buff. But you can just ignore these skills. Like the base build, like if I'm just removing the skills, the base build is this. You can play it as 2 buttons. So all you want to do, Rake, evade, Rake, evade, Rake, evade. And you see, we're already doing trillions of damage just with these two skills. Rake, evade, rake, evade, rake, evade. So very, very simple. You see, if I fuck it up, or if I don't do it, like if I don't evade at all, like you see my Rake just has cooldown. But then you just do evade. You can also alternatively attack with Thunder Spike, but you don't want to do that. You want to just Rake and then evade. And you want to Rake and then evade. So if you have it set up correctly, that's basically how it goes. And all the other stuff, obviously we have Harambe, big DPS upgrade. We also combine this here with the #Kasugini, which is giving you crazy amounts of gorilla skills and also makes Harambe pull in all the enemies, as well as giving us a 1.6x multiplier, plus even more against the boss. We're getting double against the boss and also against knockback enemies. So that's pretty crazy. Like we just go with Harambe, we go crazy. And then we just add some more buffs. We have the Scourge just for some resource regeneration, because we want to like spending our resource with Kepeleke. And yeah, then we just have some more buffs basically. We have the Thunder Spike, we have the Armor Tide, and we have the counter attack for even more damage and ferocity stacks and the crit damage multiplier. So you'll basically just like cast all these skills here on cooldown, and then all you do is like you evade and you Rake. You evade and you Rake. And this is basically the gameplay loop. It's pretty simple, and then we're gonna go over the game. And you see here that the trillions of damage, they are just flying, man. They're just like completely flying. It's absolutely crazy. And we don't even have any buffs right now. I didn't even buff myself with any potions. So, we are rocking on the helm, Rod of Kepeleke. Ideally, you want to have a greater affix on the core skill to hit twice as well. Resource and core skill is the most important, because your Rake's a core skill, and you can deal double damage with core skills, and maximum resource is so important, because Rod of Kepeleke itself spends all your resources. Like when I press Rake, you won't even see it properly, but when I press Rake, it spends all my resources, but it just goes up so fast, right? You see, I press Thunder Spike. If I press Rake, all my resource goes down, and then it goes up again. Boom, boom. It goes up again. Very fast. I'll get into why, but that's why we use Rod of Kepeleke. Crazy damage multiplier, and that's why resource is important. We also have adaptability on our amulet, which also gives us another double dipping multiplier with resources, because thanks to the Sepan Sontek, our base, our core skill, bro, we've been disconnected. Too many hits on this target dummy, guys. Anyways, I guess we're going to get back into the game in a second. Yeah, we're playing Sepan Sontek and a Rod of Kepeleke here on our gear, and our Sepan Sontek is going to make our core skill into basic skills as well. And that combination is just going to be completely crazy here with a Kepeleke basic skill, and then it buffs our basic skills. So this is going to be very, very powerful. Count has not been finished loading. Unlucky, guys. But we can keep going in the planner. Like, this is just all in the planner anyways. I'll have on my gear in a second again. Then we are rocking the Harmony of Ebewaka, guys. And thanks to our Spirit Halls here, we get the Gorilla Spirit Hall, which gives us Barrier. It also makes all our skills into Gorilla. And thanks to the Ebewaka, we also get the second tag here from the Eagle Hall, which gives us 1.2x for our multiplicative damage, because we make the targets vulnerable. And it also gives all of our skills the Eagle tag. And when we get the Eagle tag, we obviously unlock a ton of different multipliers for our skills. And we also get another 48x here from the Harmony of Ebewaka. Completely crazy. And then what we're rocking right now, guys, is a new tag, or like a higher DPS tag. We are rocking with Fists of Fate. And this is just so important. Before I was playing with Shaco in the previous like early version of this build, there's still this like uber tanky version here that you can play, where you rock with a Harlequin's Crest. This helps you with cooldown, this helps you with toughness, if you feel squishy. If you are like maybe a more newer player, the Harlequin's Crest setup is definitely the way to go. But we're going to be mainly focusing about the full DPS and explaining the build here basically. So we're definitely looking into this. And the Fist of Fate just adds a crazy multiplier, 1 to 360x. And it also has this crazy amount of lucky hit, and also has a chance to make enemies vulnerable. And this is so important because we are using the Vital Strikes passives, which basically is doing double damage. This one got buffed this patch. It also generates us a ton of vigor, but it removes the vulnerable effect. So it is extremely, extremely important to have as much vulnerable on lucky hit as possible. And with the Fists of Fate, I'll show you in game real quick in a second, it just makes it so comfortable to make the target vulnerable all the time. And you want to really have them vulnerable because baseline, it's a 1.2x when it's vulnerable. Eagle is another 1.2x when it's vulnerable. And then obviously all of our vulnerable damage, the additive one will work, and our vital strike is also double damage. So it's like triple damage when the target's vulnerable. So it's really, really important that you either play Fist of Fate or you have lucky hit chance on your ring if you're playing with the uber tanky setup. And also, guys, it's also very important to play with a pole arm because we do have a passive here. It's called Vocal Point, and you read here the last line, pole arm plus 30% lucky hit chance to make enemies vulnerable. This is also really important, another 1.3 chance basically to just make all the enemies vulnerable. Oh, we can get back into the game now. So this is just really important to go pole arm, and then like Fist of Fate here, this is like the DPS setup. And this is basically what we were playing here to get this crazy times in 137. We dropped the Shaco in the Harlequin's Crest from the tanky setup, and we went fully into vulnerable, and we also got the multiplier from Fist of Fate, and we had to find solutions with our cooldown reduction, which we got from our rings and from our amulets. But if you want to do like, super high pits, then you have to play this like full DPS version. But if you just want to like, I don't know, do pit 120, do pit 130, it's completely fine to play with the Harlequin's Crest or to play, the version without any uber uniques. Like both of them will work pretty well here. And I think we are loaded back into the game. Like this is basically just me spawning the boss here. Like you can see, we're gonna have like, I think almost 8 minutes for this boss. So completely crazy. The DPS is wild in this build. And yeah, we're back here right now. So these are the Fists of Fate that I have in the game. This is what I was talking about. And yeah, also we have this 140% lucky hit. And if you're watching my Rake here, I just actually undid all the skills. So again, we play Harambe, we play Scourge, we play Armor Tide, we play everything. You see here, my Rake already baseline has a 52% chance to lucky hit, which is basically every second hit, right? And then it has a 100% chance to make vulnerable. So it's really important to have these like kind of breakpoints to make the enemies and keep the enemy vulnerable. And yeah, just get the crazy multiplier. Then again, we are playing the big smash gorilla here on the boots. And again, really important to have the plus 15 gorilla skills, or at least, I say at least plus 10, because this is just what's basically giving you like all this crazy ranks to your Rake. But every skill becomes a gorilla skill, guys, thanks to your gorilla spirit hall. So you're getting these 15 ranks on literally every single skill, like on Armor Tide, Counter Attack, Scourge, like all skills are gorilla skills. And you're getting all these crazy, crazy tags of this. So Kepeleke, Sepan Sontek, Harmony of Ebevaka, Fists of Fate right now, and then #Keskungi with the big ape going crazy. Then we also have the Rake, Manifest a Spirit. And this is also really important because this allows you to hit on range. You've maybe seen this from the Chaos perk we talked about earlier. You're dealing less damage when you're close. So how are we staying in range? We are basically using this extremely large size that we get from Rake. And no matter what they say, my friends, the size matters. And so does the size of this Rake. Because when we cast the Rake, while we are like a bit further away from the target, you can see here when I cast the Rake, like it just like, I can be like way back here, and we can still get like all the bonuses from the Rake, right? Like so, whenever we have the Rake going, like, and these after effects, they keep happening. It also all benefits here from the back of triple damage multiplier. And that's why we want the Rake size so big, and that's why we can just like Rake from over here, and the target is just getting slashed here with these extra Rake damage attacks. So pretty insane. Then we also rack the redirected force. We have a permanent 100% chance to block thanks to our Armor Tide. Like we just press this and we're just going to be blocking all the time. And we're going to be resetting the cooldowns with our Wildfire Glyph, because Rake does fire damage. And whenever we do fire damage with Lucky Hit, which has another crazy synergy with the Fists of Fate, we deal fire damage with Lucky Hit, it just goes completely crazy on all the resets. Like Lucky Hit is like super important in this build, and it's like one of the main sources of DPS, and this was just what makes Fists of Fate so insane. So we have this up all the time. We want the Ape Protector cooldown. Right now I have 11 seconds. You can even get lower. if you happen to get a greater affix here on this boots, it's really important actually, this greater affix. I don't have it right now. Obviously, it's hard to get. You probably won't have it either. So it's also fine if you like do a double hit on the gorilla skill and then you do one ultimate cooldown. Ideally, for the boss fight, I would like to have this down to 10 seconds. Right now, I have a little bit of a gap. I would say like 1.5 seconds gap between my gorilla cast on the boss fight. I'll show you later in the gameplay. And it's not ideal because you're going to be losing the 30% damage reduction. You're going to be losing the barrier, and you're going to be losing the damage multiplier here. From the gorilla itself, it's 30, and the 120 against bosses from this. So, yeah, you want to be a bit careful here with the gorilla cooldown. It's really important to have a decent protector cooldown. And this is where like other setups come in, where you're dropping the Starless Sky. Unfortunately, I can't do this right now. But you could always drop the Starless Sky and go for another ring here that has protector cooldown. You see, if I'm doing the switch here with Unyielding, I'm down to 7 seconds actually. So that would be crazy, and I want to play the setup as well, but I'm going to focus on my setup, and we'll also talk about the current 138 setup that is not playing with a Starless Sky, and it's not playing with any mythics, but it's playing with unyielding hits. But then you also need to stack 5,000 armor, and that just has crazy, crazy gear requirements. And since I'm playing like pretty much all the classes, we've been playing the Druid, we've been playing the Barb, we've not been playing the Barb yet, but we want to play the Barb. We've been playing the Druid, we've been playing the Sorcerer, we've been playing the Spiritborn, and we've even played a bit of Rogue. But yeah, it's very hard to get all this gear, very, very hard. But so right now, we are playing with the Starless Sky, which is like more than enough, you know, to absolutely destroy like 137 and stuff. But we'll see how crazy high it's going to go. Starless Sky is also very good, guys, because we are stacking, as you may have noticed, we are stacking resource cost reduction. And resource cost reduction is a multiplier for Rod of Kepeleke. I don't know why it works like this, but whatever resource cost reduction you have is a straight multiplier. You know, so all these resource costs, this is basically, that's why I have resource costs everywhere. Ideally, you want a triple crit Rake, but resource cost is second best. So this 30% resource cost reduction basically transforms into a 30x multiplier in combination with your Starless Sky, and then it's all added together, right? But I think I'm getting like an 80x or something. If I'm going down here right now, my Starless Sky obviously isn't stacked. But you see here, the Vigor cost reduction, this is already a 50x multiplier, 50% multiplier. And it's just only going to go crazier when I stack my Starless Sky, right? Like if I cast my Rake, you see this goes up. So pretty crazy. And then on the Amulet, we have the adaptability, again, scaling resources. You definitely want to be using a resource elixir. And my current resource here is 281. I think like as long as you have like 250 plus, you can even have 300 if you have really good gear, but because I didn't master work my helm yet, running out of Forgotten Souls. But yeah, I would say like aim for about 250 to 300 vigor. Obviously, the more the better, because again, it's double dipping. Kepeleke multiplier, adaptability multiplier, because our Rake has the basic skill tag from Kepeleke and then also gets buffed from the Cyber Soundtag. Pretty crazy. And then, yeah, the halls, we already talked about Gorilla for the shield and for the Gorilla skills, because this is going to give you 15 extra skills. And then we are playing also here with the Eagle. This also gives you 20x damage, and it also unlocks a ton of stuff in the skill tree. And this is what we're going to talk about next, the skill tree. So this is how my skill tree looks with all the buffs here. You can see all the plus 15s. So we just have 1 point in Thunder Spike. Very important, you need this. It makes the targets vulnerable. This is also the reason why right now I'm rocking with Thunder Spike size. You see, whenever I Thunder Spike, it's pretty huge. Let's actually go with multiple targets here and the boss targets again. So you see, it's like whenever I Thunder Spike through the enemy, they get vulnerable. So you just Thunder Spike through and they get vulnerable. And when you do like, you know, the full rotation, it just basically like, it goes like this, and they are like, you know, you see they are like vulnerable and then not vulnerable. And then they're vulnerable again and then not vulnerable. So yeah, it goes pretty good, and it's just a ton of damage, like with this combination here, basically. The trillions of damage is just flying, and you just want to be like, you know, going around like this through the enemy, keeping your distance when you cast the Rakes. And yeah, it's very like button intensive, but you basically just need to do Rake, Thunder Spike, and everything else is just a buff pretty much. So it's pretty chill. So definitely want to having the Thunder Spike. Then we are also maxing out Vigorous. This gives us more resource generation when we cast the core skill. Obviously, the Rake's a core skill. Rake also reduces our Harambe cooldown, our Protector cooldown, and all the other cooldowns. And it also gives us Ferocity, which gives us damage later. And then we are rocking the balance exertion. Again, the Vigor cost doesn't matter because with Kepeleke, we spend it all anyway, so we just get a 15x multiplier. We are also rocking the Untamed Power. Our Harambe makes us unstoppable. You see, like, we're just permanently unstoppable when we're in this guy. And yeah, it's pretty crazy with Harambe. And then we're also rocking the Apex here. Again, when the enemy is vulnerable, we have another multiplier here. And we're rocking whatever points you have left in diminishment. When the enemy is vulnerable, they do less damage. We're rocking the Armor Tide. And then there's two setups you can choose. Either you go full barrier with the Viscous Shield Paragon. Then you want the damage reduction. Or you're going without Viscous Shield and you're going with the Revealing. Then you want to go with the healing here. And also, maybe after the patch on Tuesday, guys, this one might become even better. Because there is a chance we are able to drop Bran over Brains when they finally fixed Beast Incarnate. Because in theory, Beast Incarnate is more damage. And Beast Incarnate would also give us the resources back. But right now, we want to stick with Bran over Brains, highest multiplier. So then we basically have the Armor Tide, we have the Counter Attack, it just gives us more damage. We have the Scourge, it gives us more resource, gives us more damage. And then, you know, since we have all the tags here, we can use the Gorilla multipliers, we can use the Eagle multipliers, and we can use the Jaguar multipliers. So stack up all the multipliers. You don't really need more points here, it just gives you some toughness, but we want DPS. Then we have just 1 point in Harambe, it's fine because we get the plus 15. And really important, max these 3 out. Like, this is big damage, big Vigor, which is double dipping, and Supremacy, which is completely crazy. And then obviously the Vital Strikes, which gives you the Vigor back and also gives you double damage, and that's why you need a ton of Vulnerable. And then also here, really important, 1 point in Bastion, you want to have some source of Thorns damage, because we gonna be rocking the Revealing Glyph, Revenge Glyph, sorry, and you need some Thorns damage here to proc the Glyph, basically. So this is our Paragon board now. Again, very important, Wildfire. This one reduces your cooldowns. Don't play without this. It's really, really good. Then here also, very important, the Mangerist Glyph. This one multiplies your resources. It multiplies this here. So this one is 45 resources plus another 8 resources. So you're getting 53 resources just from this Paragon. Definitely put this in the sapping board. 1.6x multiplier plus this crazy glyph here. And yeah, that gives us like just a crazy amount of stats and a crazy amount of resources. Then we're rocking Viscous Shield here with Kenny. And you can theoretically drop Viscous Shield and play with Revealing, because it can be very hard to keep up your barrier. With Viscous Shield, you really want to be playing the POC Quacks with Sam Q rune combination. So whenever you evade, you see my barrier goes up. So I evade, my barrier goes up. And you really want to have, you know, like all the life in barrier. Also, Harambe also gives you a barrier thanks to your Gorilla Hall. So you have a lot of barrier sources. And if you want to get the full multiplier, you can get a 66% multiplier from the Viscous Shield, but you need to keep up the barrier. And it's not that easy. So if it's like too hard to keep up, you can switch to the Revealing Paragon board node. But however, Viscous Shield is the most DPS in theory. Then we have Convergence here with Spirit. We crit all the time thanks to Kepeleke. So always go with Spirit, pretty crazy. We don't really need attack speed in this build because our Rake has cooldown anyways. Attack speed doesn't really do anything for evade. We already talked about this. So Rake, evade, Rake, evade, Rake, evade. But the thing is, the attack speed won't really do anything here. So you just Rake, evade, Rake, evade, Rake, evade. It's fine. Pretty insane. And yeah, then last but not least, guys, we are rocking the Drive because we're going to be moving all the time. Big multiplier. And then here the Revenge. It's just the craziest multiplier. 15x and then another 10x. Pretty crazy. And that's why you need some Thorns. So that's pretty much the setup, guys. Now, I quickly want to talk about the different setups that we have here. So going back to the planner. So right now, I am playing the Starter Skies version. This is not the highest DPS version. There's even a higher one, but this one has pretty crazy gear requirements. So like I said, you can switch your Starter Sky to the unyielding hits. Now, whenever you cast a Gorilla skill, which is going to happen all the time, because all of your skills are Gorilla skills, thanks to the Hall, you're going to get 30% of your armor in damage. But you need 5,000 armor, or at least 4,000 plus, to make this worthwhile. And that means you need an amulet. This is my current amulet. It has resources. Resources is double dipping, very good. But you can have an amulet like this. Obviously, mine amulet doesn't have greater affix dex, or doesn't have greater affix potence. So that's why I haven't switched yet. This is just like a 1GA amulet that I found. It's just very, very hard to get an amulet. You would need greater affix armor on your amulet. And even right now, if I switch it, I don't even get that much. But if I masterwork this, this goes up to like 120 or something. And then you also put a skull in it. And you can somewhat comfortable reach like about 4,000 armor. And if you have 5,000 armor with like crazy GA gear everywhere and high paragon, your unyielding hits becomes quite a lot stronger than your Starless Skies. But your Starless Skies gives you core skill ranks, it gives you a 1.5 multiplier, and it also gives you another multiplier because the resource cost reduction. And it also gives you a ton of auras, and you also get more lucky hits for more vulnerable, and for more vital strikes, and for more damage. But that's the current number 1 setup with some crazy multipliers. But yeah, like this build still has no problem, like, you know, clearing like 137 and beyond, basically. So there's just all like the tons of different setups that you can play. And then also for like the most people watching here, I would also recommend my old setup that I was playing before. It's a little less damage. It can maybe do like 136 or something, but it's super tanky. So it's this setup here where you use the Harlequin's Crest instead of the Fists of Fate. And then you just use Lucky Hit on the ring to make enemies vulnerable with the Lucky Hit. And you basically switch the Fist of Fate with your Harlequin's Crest. And this just gives you a ton of cooldown reduction. It gives you a ton of life. It gives you also maximum resources, which is double dipping with Kepaleke and adaptability again. And it's just like a very safe, very comfortable setup. And one more tip here, you definitely want to have life on your weapon. Like right now when I'm buffing myself, so I'm using Resourcefulness, I'm using 100 Dex, and then you can either use Song of the Mountain if you play Unyielding, or you can use Rediment Bust for more life. So I'm playing with 16,000 life right now. And I just quickly want to show you here when I take this build, and I just do like, you know, a bit of a lower pit. You saw the 137 run, but this build's absolutely cooked if you want to be carrying your friends, if you want to do like, I don't know, like level your glyphs or something. And it's also very cool. You can transition basically from the evade build, which is like the number 1 leveling build. So you can start with evade, fresh character, you level with evade, then you play the normal evade like Speed Blast, Spiritborn, until you have the Chaos Powers. I do not recommend playing the Rake version when you don't have Chaos Powers. So keep playing evade until you have at least, you know, like a base. Like, doesn't really matter what greater affix you have, but you want at least all of the multipliers, like all of the Chaos Armors. You need 4 Chaos. If you play the Shaco version, you need 4 Chaos Armors. You need the Kepaleke, you need the Sepan Sontek, you need the Elbewaka, and you need the Gorilla, the new Ape multiplier here. Those 4 you need, and then you just play Shaco, Starless Sky if you have those, and then you can already start playing this. And it's super strong. Like, I'm just going to show you here. So obviously we are doing this higher tiers, but like I can just show you here like 120 or something, and you just see like how crazy this build completely destroys this tier here. Like if you just go a bit lower, it just goes here to show like how much life those monsters like actually get in the higher pits. Because like when we rock this, like we're basically just going through here, and you see like they completely melt basically. Like it's pretty crazy like how fast you know the packs can die here in this. Like you see like we just like 2-shot them basically. Make a pull, as soon as Harambe smashes in, like they're just already dead. See, like we basically just blast here, Harambe like goes in the middle, and boom, you see pack already dead. Like it's pretty wild when you're just like basically going from the higher pits into like a more, you know, speed focused tier. Like how crazy fast you can just march through these lower tiers. And even here with the knights, like, okay, they have some shield, but like it literally doesn't matter. Like you can do this run, or you can play this like pit tiers here. I think I've done a run in like 2 minutes, basically. Like it depends a bit on like what kind. Obviously, this is like a pretty bad map, but doesn't really matter, right? Like we're like already here done with this, and basically just going more and more and more and more. And yeah, so rotation is like fairly simple, basically, and we're just completely like demolishing all the enemies here. See, boom. 2 of these yellow packs already dead. And you also have this insane AoE. So you're basically like hitting absolutely everything that is on your screen. And you can just move very fast as well, because you have to see a perma evade up. Like, you're just basically playing evade. It's just a little slower because you have to stop. It's not like auto-aiming with the feathers, like it's with the normal evade build. Like, you have to stop for the slashes. But the slashes also like happen automatically when you press your rake. And they have like this huge AoE that basically like completely blasts everything down. See, like get the pack, do like one gorilla on it, and boom, pack is dead. I think I missed some monsters in floor 1. Oh, might be fine. See, here we go, boom, boom, boom. Go absolutely crazy, blast them all down. Keep blasting. Oh, here, another pack. Just cast your Harambe. Once he's gonna smash, the pack's instantly dead. Because Harambe gives you like the crazy multiplier for everything. Once Harambe hits, man, they go down. That you can rest assured. See, Harambe, boom. Pack gets blasted. Super crazy. And then we do like one last pull here. Chop, chop, chop. Blast him down. Harambe comes, dead. And he's still smashing, man, our King Kong. And on the boss, it's basically the same story, guys. You just, oh, this is the worst boss in the game. But it matters not. You just go rake around. Like, this is the highest DPS boss. Not the DPS, highest life boss you can get. But still, even in a pit 120, you're completely blasting her down, basically. And she's already dead. Boom. That was like a 2.5 minute run, like very bad map. We get our Whisperer, we get our Harambe up. So try this build, guys. It's the best build of the season by far, and then some. Like, this build's absolutely crazy. It's even overshadowing the Druids here. Absolutely wild. And Harambe is our favorite guy, so show some support, like the video if you did. And yeah, go smash, guys. Let me know how it goes. Rake for the win, man. Log in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.